Hello, fourth graders. All right, we are going to do some multiplication today. And we're actually going to start slow and just do 2-digit times 1-digit and 3-digit times 1-digit in this lesson. But let's do some definitions first. Multiply is when you take a number and increase it a certain amount of times. So 6 times 4 is taking 6 and increasing it 4 times. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 to get your answer. Factors are numbers that are multiplied together. A product, if you ever see that word, they want you to multiply because that is the answer to a multiplication problem. Then a times sign, and the reason I put this in here is because you're going to see quite a few different examples of what a times sign looks like. It can be an X, it could be a dot, or it can look like a star. If you see those signs, those are meaning multiply. And it is a symbol used to show multiplication. All right, let's get into our first strategy of multiplication, which is called the traditional method. And in this method, it's just the same method that your parents learned. It's the same method that I learned. And we've been doing it a little bit in class. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this. Let's say you had 18 times 6. The first thing you do is take your 8 times 6. You start in the ones. So 8 times 6 is 48. So I'm going to put my 8 down and carry my 4 on top of my tens. Then you take 6 times 1. Well, 6 times 1 equals 6. I have to add the 4 that I carried over, so 6 plus 4 is 10. So my answer is 108. Let's do another one with 3 digits times a 1-digit. We're still doing traditional. So if I took 7 times 4, because I started my ones, so 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm going to put the 8 down here, carry my 2 above my 3. Now let's do the tens category. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus that extra 2 that I carried over is 14. So I'm going to put my 4 down and carry my 1. Now I'm in the hundreds. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus the 1 extra is 9. So my answer is 948. All right, now let's move on to the box method. Usually in my class I have half of them wanting to do the traditional and half wanting to do the box method. And it's just your preference, but I'm going to show you both ways. All right, so the box method first requires you to do expanded form for the numbers. So if I do expanded form for 18, I get 10 plus 8. If I do expanded form for 6, it just stays 6. Now my job is to draw a box. And since this is 2 on top, so 10 and 8, and then 1 on the side, which is just 6, this is what my box would look like. So I'm going to take 10 times 6, that equals 60, so that goes in the first box. Because if you notice, the 10 touches this box and the 6 touches the box. Now if I go to my second box, the 8 is on top and the 6 is on the side, so 8 times 6 is 48. And then all I have to do is add those numbers together. 60 plus 48. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 4 is 10. So my answer is 108. All right, let's do the box method for my 3-digit times 1-digit. So first thing I do is expand it out. 237 becomes 200 plus 30 plus 7. And 4 just stays a 4. So I'm going to get my box done now. I always put my top number in my multiplication problem on the top of my box. So I'm going to put 200, 30, and 7. And then my bottom number goes on the side, which is a 4, and it just stays a 4. So in my first box, I get 204. So here's a trick. Anytime there are zeros at the end, that's how many zeros you can put in your answer. So because I have 2 zeros in 200 and none in the 4, I can add 2 zeros to my answer. Then I can just take 2 times 4 and get 8. So 200 times 4 is 800. In my second box, 30 touches it and 4 touches it. So 30 times 4, well, I have 1 zero in the 30, so I'm going to put 1 zero in my answer. 3 times 4 is 12, so 120 is my answer for 30 times 4. And then in the last box, it's 7 times 4, which is 28. Then I just come over here, add 800, 120 plus 28. The ones column is 8, 2 plus 2 is 4, 8 plus 1 is 9. So my answer is 948. All right, then there's a third method called partial products. Very few people like to do this, but this is another option that you can have if you would rather prefer to do this instead of the box or the traditional method. So let's do partial products. It always starts out with expanded form, just like the box method. So 18 is expanded out to 10 plus 8, and 6 is expanded out to 6. When you do this method then, this is all multiplication problems. So we're not going to draw a box. What you do is you take the top numbers, the 10 and the 8, and you make individual multiplication problems when you multiply them by the 6. So let's just start with the 10. When I take my 10 times 6, I get 60. And then I have an 8 on the top also, so I'm going to take 8 times 6, and I get 48. Then I add them together, and this is an 8, this is 10, so my answer is 108. Let's do partial products for 237 times 4. Expand it out just like the box method, so 200 plus 30 plus 7, and 4 stays a 4. All right, once again, you take all of your top numbers and multiply them by all of the bottom numbers in individual problems. So 200 is multiplied first, so 200 times the 4. And you look here, there's 2 zeros, so I'm going to put those in my answer. 2 times 4 is 8. Then my next number is 30 that I'm multiplying by 4. 1 zero in this answer, and 4 times 3 is 12. And then I have a 7 that I multiply by 4. 7 times 4 is 28. Add them together, this is 8, 2 plus 2 is 4, 8 plus 1 is 9. 948. All right, here's your work it out. You can use any of the strategies I just told you. You can use traditional, box, or partial products to solve 623 times 7. Then I want you to write 2 or more sentences explaining your reasoning, and we will discuss it in class. Have a good night.